Welcome back to episode 34 of Tall Boy Radio. We've done some heavier episodes recently, so we're going to lighten things up a little bit and talk about food, something we all enjoy. So let's say hello, as we always do, and talk about the beer that we are drinking today. Go on, Andy. We'll start with you first.
Hello. I'm on the old JD.
JD.
A bit of Coke in there as well, just to whet the whistle.
Very nice, very nice. Gazza?
Hi guys, I am drinking Blue Moon, which is a particular favourite of mine. Unfortunately, I haven't got the orange segment to go in there, which is a bit of a shame, but it's still a beaut.
It is. It's a very good beer, that one. And the one I've got is from Goose Island. It's a 7%er and it's a Belgian-style ale. Never been a massive fan of Belgian-style ales that aren't Belgian, but this one is actually okay. But the main reason why I enjoy this one, if you can see the bottle, if you'd like to read out the name of that beer.
It's called Matilda.
Which is the name of my firstborn, my daughter Matilda, yeah. So it was bought for me a couple of years ago for Christmas, and they've updated the bottle. And actually, they start selling it now. Tesco's, £3 a bottle, 7%, Belgian-style ale. I've got to say, actually, it's not too bad, this one. It's quite a dark one.
It looks quite dark. We just popped that next to it.
Yeah, you compare that to the old Blue Moon Belgian White.
So there we go.
It's interesting enough. Blue Moon is that's another American beer actually that's done in the Belgian style.
Yeah, Belgian style wheat ale. And it's 5.4%, so not quite strong as yours, but
still strong enough.
Still strong enough.
That's it. I remember drinking that on the stag do that you kindly organised for. You guys were best man at my wedding. Yeah. Organised a stag do, and I was on that on the second day. And it's quite ill that day. I think the second day.
To be fair, you were quite ill that day, probably because of the night before.
Yeah, I was quite ill the night before.
You were quite ill the night before as well.
I was even, to be honest, I was even worse the day after. I remember we had plans to go out, and instead I lay on the couch shaking, watching Stephen Gerrard slip over and lose the title for Liverpool.
I was shaking then as well with laughter.
Yeah. I'll mention that now. Actually, I should have mentioned that when Ken was on the last one that we just recorded. But no, just going to do a couple of shout outs at the start of this episode, which I actually had promised to do in episode 33, but just didn't feel right to be mentioned given the nature of what that episode was about. So I want to say a big thank you to Jim Malliard, which is at Malliard Report on Twitter. He retweets all our stuff to his 80,000 followers. I want to say a massive, massive thank you for that, because we really, really appreciate that exposure. The other person I wanted to thank was a chap by the name of Oscar Albis Rodriguez, who does the music to this. Check him out on Instagram, Albis_music. I think it's a great tune at the start. And I'm actually having a look. We've just launched the TBR store, haven't we?
We have.
Actually, as this one's released, that 15% discount no longer available because we've not talked about it anyway. Well, get yourself along, get yourself involved. And if you do buy any of the merchandise off there, send us a picture. On that, and that's not going to be the end of it. We're going to do some other merchandise because, like I say, with this guy, I'm actually been looking at getting a few vinyls cut. I found a place that does picture discs, so we can do Tall Boy Radio picture disc with the music to it on a 7-inch.
Do you know what I'm just thinking? In terms of the TBR merch, whether it's a t-shirt or whether it's a hoodie or whatever it is on there,
a bib or a face mask,
whatever, a face mask. I'm thinking we need to find a prize, and I'll try and find something. I don't know what it'll be yet, but we find a prize and we donate it to the person that can submit the best TBR merch photo, and we'll all vote on it.
Yes.
And it could be holding a big glass halfway up a mountain or whatever it may be, but we'll all vote on it, and I'll fund some sort of giveaway prize or something.
And if you go to that website and you see the item you're looking for isn't there, message us, because do you know what? We've bought some equipment sat in my utility room. We can print some stuff, we can make some stuff, we can make it. I bought a roof rack for my car. There's roof boxes. We're going on a holiday soon, and I've said to the wife before we set off, I want on the back of there, I want tallboyradio.com on the back of there. So anybody who's stuck behind John Wayne, which is the new name for my Nissan Juke, then you can see tallboyradio.com on there.
Hopefully, a big print of your face on the top for the helicopters going over.
yeah.
In America, you've got the numbers of the cop cars, and you've just got his big mug just on top.
Yeah. Vote TBR.
That's it. Can I just want to in turn, I don't know whether your shout outs are finished, but and I know I sort of mentioned them last time, but Chid and Shiner, they always, they're always supportive and stuff. They always give our podcast a bit of a listen. They always give us a bit of a shout out. So just a bit of a thanks for me, really, in terms of just the shout out that they give us. Obviously, they go to quite a few more people than we do at the moment, so it's great just that they keep trying to sort of push us and stuff. And obviously, they're great friends from across the pond. So big shout out to you guys. Love what you do.
Yeah, 100%. I'd echo that as well. Absolutely. I did have one more shout out, and the last one is to Ken's mum, because she also supports us, emails, and lets us know what she thinks of the different episodes. Probably should have done it on the one that her son was on, but it just didn't feel right for shout outs on last episode.
No.
That was one of our more serious episodes. Yeah. This one
isn't going to be.
We can promise won't be. Yeah, we're going to be talking about one of those things that everyone loves talking about. Food. This is Gaz's brainchild, which is why we've called it the food episode, aka GFG's FGF.
And if you didn't know what GFG stands for, I am godfather to Matilda, who's just been previously mentioned. So for years, pretty much, I've been known as GFG, so Godfather Gaz. And so that's me. I am GFG.
And FGF, obviously, food, glorious food.
But in terms of the food, I just thought, you know what? Let's do a bit of a light-hearted one. What's your favourite pizza topping? What's your worst pizza topping? What food should never be on a pizza? Full stop. What's the best takeaway? Is there a particular takeaway for a particular evening? Is there a takeaway for a particular sort of atmosphere? Let's talk about some food successes, some food woes that we've had in the kitchen when we've perhaps tried to create something. Maybe talk about, and I will talk about, food places that Andy has taken us on his trips around London when we've been down there for the NFL weekend and stuff. So just experiences of food, the best, the worst, funny stories, whatever it may be. Just a bit of a light-hearted look at, for me, pineapple should never be on a pizza. Ever. Ever.
I said I don't make many notes. At the start of this, didn't I? I said I have not made many notes about this. What's the first thing I've written there? Should pineapple be on a pizza? Now, as a result, did you read that?
No. Generally not.
Andy, what's your opinion? Pineapple on a pizza, yes or
no? Not for me personally, but I think there should be something for everyone.
Good man.
No, garbage. Nowhere near a pizza.
Because I'll tell you what, pineapple and pizza all day, every day.
It was definitely because there was the video on YouTube and Twitter and so doing the rounds on social media, and it was like, it came up and it's like the best place for pizza on pineapple on a pizza. Literally, this guy's got a pizza and pineapple, and he just flips a bin lid open, and he just empties the pizza into the bin. And you're like, yes, I like that.
I think I mentioned before on a previous episode, my issue with pineapple on a pizza is ham and pineapple. Two things that aren't indigenous to Hawaii, so it bugs me it's colour. But that said, I was vegetarian for 15 years, wasn't I?
You say that.
No, we talked about it in the last episode.
But it was, you say 15 years, but it's probably 14 years and 300 and however many days, because there was one day when you were vegetarian, and I think must have been out, and I'm pretty sure that we ended up having some sort of bacon sandwich, something or other. And that was during, so I was like, so you say that, so I'll give you that 1 day lapse.
My Achilles heel bacon. But yeah.
Medicinal
purposes. But no, my favourite pizza as a vegetarian was cheese, onion, spicy hot green chili, bird's eye chilies, and pineapple, because that pineapple just took the edge off it as well. Gave that sweet taste to the yin to the yang of the chili.
Get it in the bin.
Absolutely delightful. But go on. You.
So for me, and it's because I've literally just gone to the WhatsApp page and actually came up with a couple of photos that Andy took of, was it a barbecue or whatever that you went to, and it's literally like me, and I was like, oh my god, that looks awesome. So you can talk about that in a bit, Andy. But for me, I remember years ago, and one of my first memories. I say not first memories, because I never used to eat pizza really, because I didn't used to like tomato. So I was like, I always associate pizza.
We tried white slice.
So
you ever tried white slice?
No.
White slice, no tomato on it. It's got like almost like a carbonara base to it.
You see, I would eat that. I'm not a massive barbecue based fan either, but so I remember sort of getting into pizza, and when I was at uni with actually Adam's brother, we had this. There was a delivery pizza place that delivered at stupid o'clock in the morning, and one of the guys I went to university with was a guy called Trusher, who was an Indian guy, and he had this sauce that he put on, this hot sauce, and we were like, I can't believe you're gonna eat that, and he's like, well, it's fine, it's not a problem, and he sort of dipped his finger in this, and he was like, oh, that's fine, it's not lucky, and we were like, oh, okay, so put a tiny bit on. Well, both me and John, we were like, oh my, literally, and it just like ruined the pizza. So for me, was like a bit like actually let's stay away from pizza for a while. And so for years, I never really ate it. And then I think I tried one with a bit of pineapple, and I was like, bleh, like that just should not happen. That's just like, forget that. So for me, pepperoni, chilies, onion, because I love onion on a pizza. Got to have a bit of onion on there. And I quite like a little bit of mushroom just to take. So I suppose in a way a bit like a spicy meat feast, but the spice has got to be a bit spicier than a spicy meat feast. You've got to have that nice little tang kick to it. So in terms of pizza, that's me. Andy, I know you love your food. I know you love your meat. You are a Viking. You are meat and beer. So for you, what would be your perfect barbecue meal?
I don't know. So like at the weekend, we had like slow cooked beef and stuff like that, and lamb that's cooked for like 48 hours, stuff like that, and that was amazing. But then we had sausages as well, so like an English sausage, a German, and a Polish one, and even they were like really good because they're like different types of meat and they've got spices in them as well. So
yeah. So are you a believer in barbecue should be effectively burgers, sausages, or do you subscribe to you can throw some salmon on there, you can throw lots of different things on there? So where do you stand on that? Is it just your traditional burgers, sausages, or?
I'd say you could throw anything on it because a few months back we did a Sunday roast on it. So we did the whole chicken for about 5 hours. And then all the potatoes and veggies and stuff as well, all on the barbecue.
Wow.
It's like I've got like an oil drum barbecue where you close the lid on it and stuff.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So that's how it kept its heat. And that was brilliant.
Wow.
Traditionally though, it'd be burgers and sausage. I would have done.
So I'm coming around to yours. We're going to have a bit of a get together, a couple of beers. You're going to turn around and say, "Okay, crack open the barbecue. What's going on there?"
I like to make my own burgers. I don't like to buy them from the shop. I like to get it. You got to buy that meat, mould together, and put some different things in it. Yes, there's going to be chilies in there. Yes, there's going to be cheese in the centre and those sort of things. But you talk about barbecue, and actually takes it back to our buddies Teddy and Shiner, because Shiner, massive barbecue fan. He's always out on his Traeger smoking stuff in his back garden. And if you get along to their YouTube channels, which is Outcast Media Group, and more importantly, 420 Eats, watch that. I love that series. But they're doing a hashtag culinary chaos series at the moment on their channel, where they're doing a load of barbecue stuff. So they did smoked Cheez-Its at first. But the last one they did was, I think it was smoked venison in stuffed inside mushrooms. And I've got to be honest, that is going to be the next thing that I want to try, because they look next level. Well worth a watch, those. But for me, I love making my own burgers and doing them on there. And actually, when we were Beans Does Stuff, we did one in the back garden, and I made my own burger. And I served it with peanut butter and banana. And I've got to be honest, it was fantastic.
You see,
Elvis Burger, it was called.
Elvis Burger.
It sounds the equivalent of a pineapple on a pizza.
You're right. You're right. It was fantastic.
Peanut butter and banana. No, not for me.
Honestly, yeah, really, really spicy burger. Loads of hot sauce. Loads of homemade peanut butter as well. I have to say, homemade peanut butter, mixed up butter, and yeah, honestly, yeah, banana.
You see, for me, it used to be just a traditional burger and sausage sort of thing. And then you think, well, I'll just throw the odd steak on there. So then you think, well, okay, well, we'll start to put some fish in there, put some salmon on there, put some tuna on there. And then you think, well, actually, you've got the little skillet. So you can do your onions, you can do some bacon. If you've got like a nice little pot, you can do some potatoes as Andy, So there's lots of things you can do. Quick question then. Traditional coal barbecue or gas?
Coal.
Andy?
Coal for me.
You see, I like the flavour, but the convenience of the gas is miles better.
Yeah.
Miles better.
It can take you an hour just to get the heat before start cooking on a coal.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me is like, okay, we're going to barbecue. It's like, oh God, go back. So I like the coals, and I know that's the traditional flavour, but I just think for me the convenience of the gas, and I know you can get these. A bit like the smoking wood, so you can get the sort of smoky.
Hickory.
Yeah,
the hickory, yeah.
And
that's some things that Tilly and Sean do when they talk about their barbecue. It's the different wood that you use to give it the different flavours as well. You actually buy a Jack Daniels, so a Jack Daniels scented charcoal and hickory wood that you can do on your barbecue that gives it that Jack Daniels flavour. So the barrels that they don't use, that aren't getting sold on to be remade in other whiskies and other beers, chop it down, burn it up, and you can give it, and they properly smell, give it that Jack Daniels taste. Yeah. Fabulous.
So here's my next question, because I was thinking about this. So I don't know how much you guys cook. I know you cook.
I cook a lot.
I know you cook quite a lot. Andy, I don't know how much you cook, whether it's you or Amy. If I said to you then, okay, what's, in terms of you cooking, and that might be either on a barbecue or in a kitchen, what's your best and worst experiences of you being in the kitchen cooking then? So either a food that you felt as though went really well, or something that you just thought, actually, that's quite tasty, and I cooked that. What would be your sort of kitchen success, kitchen fail?
So I cook 3 or 4 times a week, and for the evening tea sort of thing. So we're doing a lot of gusto stuff at the minute, which is very obviously, you get all your ingredients. It tells you what the quantities, and so it's just like a recipe thing, and it tells you what times to do and stuff. And
he's tried to get me on board to get his discount.
It's decent, I'll tell you.
This episode is not sponsored by Gusto.
Are these the things are they the ones that you get, like the ingredients in the packets to come through the door, and they give you the boxes, and then there's the recipe to go with them? Is that what is? Yeah.
So you choose what meal you want, and then they send everything that's in it. So today we had this like fried chicken, and then potatoes, chips, and like homemade slaw. So it's something easy.
Yeah,
and it's just stuff like I've learned a lot of stuff by normally if I was going to glaze chicken, I'd just like pour some salt, like maybe Cajun on it, or get a sauce, pull it in that for a while. Whereas on the Gusto stuff, it's like it'd be like 30 different bloody things you put in it. So you like make a sauce of like it could be habanero sauce, and then it'd be soy sauce and white rice vinegar and all this stuff. And I've learned a lot these last few months just doing this sort of stuff. Like before I did Gusto stuff, my teas would be chicken dippers and chips. That's a bit more better, but I wasn't much of a cook.
You see, it's funny because you sort of say that, and for me, that's like a sort of turn the oven on 210 degrees.
Do you cook though? Because I know your daughter's a good cook as well. Yeah, and your wife's a very good cook.
Yeah, Jenny, my wife, cooks and is excellent. I won't go through the kitchen horror story of one meal she made in particular. That might be, I don't know if she'll thank me for that, but let's just say it should have been a lasagna, but it didn't really turn out like a lasagna, so that wasn't great. Amy loves cooking, and actually Amy loves baking as well, and it's a bit weird. I know the things I say cook, and I do those well. Pot noodles are pretty good, yeah. Cheese on toast is pretty good. No, but so I would I have a limited selection of meals, but I know how to cook. And you know, if you give me ingredients and you give me a recipe to follow, I would have a go. But the likelihood is I would mess it up, and therefore everybody goes hungry. So it'd be like, right, phone for Domino's, come on. No pineapple, by the way. So I would do what I would class as like one pot. So you can do your chilies, and you can do your spag bowls, and you can do so things like pork and chorizo rice, which is pork chorizo, rice, beans, onions, some spices, and literally just like chuck it in a pot, add some stock, and away you go, and it's beautiful. Steak you can do, but then I always fall into this: do you grill it? Do you shallow fry it? What's best? Do you know what I mean? So there's things I could do, but I've had some terrible experiences in terms of trying to burn stuff, spilt stuff, knock stuff over. So that means the sauce has gone in. All of a sudden, it's like that's that meal knackered. So I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not great in the kitchen. I have a limited selection. Amy is way better, and I will quite openly say, you know, Amy's my 15-year-old daughter, and I'm like, Amy, you helping cook tea tonight? She's like, Dad, I'll just cook it. I was like, yes, that's what I'm after. So, in terms of food, then.
I haven't answered yet.
Oh, sorry, it's you. Oh no, oh, sorry, Tim. Yeah, you crack on. Sorry,
So, I know I don't know why I'm so keen to share my cooking disasters. Actually, in terms of cooking wins, there's one meal I do that Kim absolutely loves. I did it for my mum and dad once.
Beans on toast.
Here we are.
Beautiful. Nice bit of Worcester sauce.
Yeah, Pittsburgh-based company. No, it was. It's a stuffed pasta, and it's a garlic, cheese and tomato stuffed pasta. You take the large conchiglie shells, whatever they're called, stuff it with that, with the roast garlic and everything in there. And honestly, it's a fantastic meal. Sounds with the sauce. Honestly, yeah, I'll do it one time. It is obviously it's a vegetarian.
You heard this first.
Yeah.
That's it.
A lot of my cooking is obviously vegetarian based because that's what I did for so many years. But my disaster is also a vegetarian one. I've done it twice. I made my homemade falafel. And it's been.
So you made it, and it was a disaster, and you didn't learn from it, and you made it again. No, it's still a disaster.
This is where I'm not letting this beat me. First time, second time, fuck it, I'm not doing that again. But I made it with my own chickpeas, compressed it, everything, got garlic, everything. So my falafel history is pretty bad. I got really bad food poisoning on a few once. I shan't say which takeaway I bought it from. In all sage, yeah.
Okay.
I ended up in hospital with food poisoning.
Okay.
Well, talk to the face ain't listening. Check out YouTube if you want to know what I'm on about that. But I made falafel at home, and it was a disaster. It fell apart, and I thought, this is not going to beat me. So a couple of weeks later, I made it again, exactly the same thing. And I was going to save it on. Kim will tell you this story. I'm embarrassed to admit it. I went to save it on the table, and I threw the plates on the floor. As I know he smashed the plates up. I'm not like Greek restaurant style like that. I was like, no, I'm not happy. Domino's, call Domino's. It's gone wrong again.
Brilliant. No, I like I say, Jenny is. She will say she's not a very good cook, but she is a good cook. So, in terms of food, then, what? And it might be either homemade, it could be out. What would be your best experience of food? In which you might, so you pay for, so either restaurant or takeaway or somewhere you've been, or a favourite memory of having good food. And it could be good food and wine with your wife and a nice romantic. Now, the food might not necessarily be fantastic, but you remember the food because of the experience. So where would it be? What would be one of your best food memories be? Andy, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can answer this quite easily. There's a a restaurant chain around Brussels, and they've got one of them that's got a different name. It's called Raphael's, so it's just off like the main Grand Place. And I don't eat mixed grill. It's always steak or something like that. But I took Mrs. in there one day, so I'll try steak in here one night. Oh my god, it was amazing. I had a mixed grill, like I said, and it was all like a lamb, like a bit of steak, bit of gammon. Oh my god, everything was just cooked to perfection. And we've been there like about 4 or 5 times, like, and it's just perfect every time. Like,
Yeah.
Still taste now.
Before I tell you that, I just want to already mention something else. Actually, talking of mixed grill, Tony Fenn.
Okay,
Tony
Fenn,
a listener of the podcast. He suggested the coffee episode that I did as beans and stuff. He wants us to go around, and Andy's going to enjoy this one based on this conversation. Wants to know which restaurant locally does the best mixed grill. Wants us to go out and try it. I'm pretty sure that's something we'd be up for.
It is, and I've got. I'm not sure it's a funny story about a mixed grill. I remember we were in Alsacia, and it was what was the mill or the old mill.
Sadly closed.
And I remember ordering a mixed grill, and I'd been eating for felt like 15 minutes, and I hadn't got to the meat yet. There were that many chips on the plate. It was ridiculous. Like, it was huge, and I mean massive. And I remember eating it and thinking, right, I'm just going to finish this plate because there's just so much food. I just can't leave it, and it's so nice. And I ate the whole lot, and I was like, I felt as I was dying. Sort of literally, I was like proper like meat sweats and like really genuinely felt ill. Like genuinely ill. And Jenny was like, do you need to go home? I was like, yes, I do. Yes, I really need. But I've been eating for honestly ages, and the plate came and it's like mounded, and go to YouTube and literally is mounded like meat upon meat upon meat. And as Andy said, there was lamb cutlets on there, there was gammon on there, there was some steak on there was sausages, there's bacon, and you're just like, and then it's like a whole host of fries. It's lovely, but blimey, like literally, it was like, oh my days. And literally Jenny was like, you need to go home now. I was like, yes, I do. But like genuinely was ill after it. Like felt like, oh my God, I thought of dying. I thought I was having a heart attack, like having a massive esophageal spasm or whatever.
I'm not a fan of a mixed grill, I've got to be honest with you.
So I like them if it's cooked well, and a lot of places you go to, they overcook the meat. So, but if you go to somewhere that's got it's nice and succulent and it's moist, because sometimes you go, it's overcooked, it's dry. The meat's dry when you have, I would say, pub cooked mixed grills. So, so for me, but that was my, just when you mentioned mixed grill there, that was my like one of my bad food experiences. So what's your bet? So
restaurant wise, it was, funnily enough, Las Vegas. I love Vegas. I mentioned it loads of times, but I've been there quite a few times, and I absolutely love Las Vegas. My favourite places to eat are traditional American food, the burgers and everything like that, barbecue. Probably funnily enough, one of the best burgers I had there was in a Gordon Ramsay restaurant when it was in the Caesar's Palace. But actually, the one time we've done fine dining in Vegas, it was, I don't know if it was on a honeymoon or we went back for our first anniversary, and we ate in the Paris Hotel. Now, for those who don't know Vegas, the Paris Hotel is literally, it has a replica of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And on the first level there, they have a restaurant, and we blagged the place there. No, it was my birthday. It was my 40th birthday. We told them it was my 40th birthday. I wasn't. It was about 3 days later, yeah.
Okay.
So they got us a table, and they got us right in the window seat. So while we're eating, you're looking over the Bellagio fountains going off. It was amazing. So it cost a lot. It was an expensive meal, and we did the wine pairing with about 4 or 5 courses.
Yeah.
Truthfully, can't remember one damn thing I ate there, but I just remember everything was. It was
the
just
experience,
phenomenal. The experience and the food was cooked to absolute perfection.
Yeah.
The waiter was perfect. He talked about the wine that he was serving with every single pour of it. I know when we left, I already had a few cocktails on the way in, but the food was phenomenal. And just as a whole dining experience, it was the best one. I talked to Rowie, and he talks about top of the Stratosphere,
right?
And they do fine dining up there. I've only been up there for cocktails and entrees, and that is great. But Stratosphere is it's the largest building west of the Mississippi. So you're sitting on top of there, and literally you're watching the planes come in. They're lower than the top of the building as they land in McCarran Airport, but the building rotates.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, it's around, and he says that's a great experience. So that's another one that. Next time.
Yeah, bucket list.
Grandma, you're having the kids. We're doing this one.
So, one of my, I suppose, favourite sort of food memories was me and Jenny were in Edinburgh, and this was BC, so before children, and we went to, and we were just by, and is it Wavertree?
Waverley Station.
Waverley Station.
It's the only train station in Great Britain named after a fictional character. Carry on.
Thanks for that. So, and there was a hotel, and I think it was called the Postman, I think. And we went in, and the whole place was just, and it's quite expensive, but you know, you push your boat out and stuff. And it's marble. There was this lovely, massive, great big sort of champagne bar as you went in, and there's a big marble sort of staircase, and like the whole of the balcony was the dining area, and it was just class, like class. And I had scallops to start. Perfect, absolute. And I had, still to this day, the best steak I've ever had. And we had a nice bottle of wine, and you know, just me and Jenny, and it was a nice romantic meal and stuff. But the food, I just remember the whole experience, a bit like you were saying, the whole experience, the food was outstanding. And we've never been back. And if the place is still going and stuff, it's phenomenal. And when we went, it was phenomenal. And that's singularly the best food experience. Collectively, probably when we were on honeymoon, because we went to Moon Palace in Mexico, and the restaurants that were on offer there, and just the different varieties of food for all of your meals was fantastic. So that was, so in terms of a collective experience of food, it was that, but singularly when we were in Edinburgh, head and shoulders above. To be fair, locally, Peck's is pretty good.
Peck's very good restaurant.
Peck's is excellent, and for those people that don't know it, it's a fine dining restaurant. There's one sitting is at 8:00, and it's quite pricey, but well worth it. And there's 6-7 courses. So you have your entrees and your sorbets, and then you have your aperitifs and all this sort. And then they bring you out a sort of a dish, and they talk you through the dish and they show you. And so that as a dining experience is brilliant, isn't it?
The day before we did our first Guinness World Record attempt, the very first one.
You went there?
I went there. We went to Pax. I was there till 1:00 in the morning. By the time we went, I had pigeon in there. I've never had pigeon anywhere else. But that, I tell you what, it's good.
And it's fantastic. And Peck's is brilliant. It's a shameless plug, but it is great.
Peck's, if you want to sponsor us.
Peck's, if you want to throw us some freebies, then absolutely, yeah. I haven't got a problem with that.
We'll come and review you, not a problem.
So Andy, I know you, and this is something I'm a bit curious about. So I know you've served and stuff. So what was you hear stories like the army food and stuff. So what was that like? Because you get varying degrees of, well, actually we had 3 top class chefs working for us, all the way down to, well, actually it's just a bit of slop when you're out, sort of thing. So what was that like?
Growing up, I was very particular about what I ate, so it would be like no sauce, and you know, it was a very limited sort of thing I actually liked. So in the army, it was like everything's mostly mass produced. So your cafeteria would be open, say for breakfast, from like 5 in the morning. That's where you can go in there, 5 in the morning till about say 9. So you think that's like 4 hours of stuff. So they're just churning out like. You'll have cereals and stuff, which normally like full English you'd get, sausages, egg, bacon. Yeah. So I used to love it. Like, I miss it.
Did you ever try any of the ready prepared stuff? Like, is it MREs, sort of meals ready to eat, whatever it's called?
Yeah, that's what the US call them. We called them like boiling a bag and stuff like that. So it's basically like a silver packet, and you get different stuff in it. But I used to get burger and beans, it used to be one of them. And I used to love
Still
that. do. Everyone in my section didn't really like that, so then I'd just trade them. I can't remember the other ones were. That burger and beans always stood out because you just boil it for 5 minutes or whatever, and then rip open the packet. It's just literally like a burger and beans. It's just like, I could swallow it all. I wonder.
Just what it says on the tin. It's burger and it's beans. That's it.
Yeah.
Happy days.
So, go on.
I was just going to say, yeah, food wasn't too bad. I mean, if you're expecting, like world-class steak and all that, then you wouldn't have got it.
Yeah,
I think
you're not going to get that, yeah.
There's a joke of all chefs failed the course. Like the cooking course sort of thing. Like,
Right.
I always find that amusing. Yeah.
So,
joke, maybe.
Okay, so we've covered. Okay, so we've covered sort of best, worst kitchen, personal experience, sort of best. Have you had a meal out in a restaurant that you literally couldn't eat, and therefore you've either had to send back or you've replaced, and I haven't, and I'll tell you a story about Jenny, my wife. We were on the honeymoon, and we were in one of the a la carte restaurants, and we got talking to this couple, and this guy, don't know his name, he's a bit of a dick, to be fair, and he was like, I'll order for you, sort of thing, and he ordered Jenny this foie gras, and it was like, literally it came, and it's like and Jenny sort of, because she went to the loo, and she came back down, and it's like, this foie gras is there, and it was like, you could tell from her face, it was a bit like, I'm not going to be able to eat this. And so she took a mouthful, and it reminded me a little bit of the Mr. Bean episode where he's like basically putting things in waiters' pockets and down the plants and stuff. And literally, she couldn't eat it, but she didn't want to sort of send it back and offend this guy, because we'd only even met him that night. And so when he said, well, I'll order for you, and it was a bit like, so literally she's like putting it in the back of this plant, and she's like cutting it up and shoving it down the seat and stuff. It was horrible, and it just got me thinking as to I've maybe sent a steak back because it had either been overcooked or whatever, but I don't remember that being so, having a meal that I've thought, actually I physically can't eat that, and actually I've tried it, I genuinely don't like it. So have you had any really bad restaurant experiences?
I haven't, but I know Andy can tell a story about when we were in Belgium, about a meal that Amy ordered.
In the cafe. That one.
Yeah.
So we're going mad on like these croque monsieurs nearly every day. You want it for breakfast. That's the standard.
There's nothing wrong with croque monsieur, by the way.
No.
Or a croque madame. Take your pick.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah, madame for me, but.
And I think Amy was like, "Oh, I want something else," and she was like, "I'm sure she wanted an omelette."
It was an omelette, yeah.
And she's like, so the woman who spoke English,
just
strong accent, but yeah, she got there. And she's like, "Oh, what's
Amy that we're on about there? She only just spoke English."
Right. Oh, okay. Okay.
And she's like, "Oh, what do you want on it?" She's like, "Can I have like ham and maybe cheese or something like that?" And then she goes, "Oh, can I have some ketchup as well?" And she just looked at us and went, "Ketchup?" And I thought at first, oh, maybe she don't understand what ketchup is. Catsup. But yeah, then she walked off and all that. Then our plates came out, and then this like dry baguette came out for Amy. I think it was a baguette or a sandwich. I forget now, but it was dry. There was nothing on it, just like a bit of ham and cheese on it. It's just. And she just sat there like just wilted in a chair. I was like, oh. I'm there like trying to eat mine as quick as I can because I know what's coming next. She's like, that's yours. Yeah, being the gentleman, I ate half of that. But,
Brilliant. You see, I haven't really, other than perhaps the odd steak that people have either overcooked or whatever. I haven't really.
I can't think of one. I don't think I've been quite fortunate, I suppose, in that respect. But no, never had a meal that I felt I need to send back. Right,
I'm going to throw this out there now. So changing tack a little bit because I'm in the driver's seat for this episode. So I'm going to throw this out. Okay, Andy, you have to prepare a 3-course meal. Okay, so starter, mains, dessert. For 4 people, there's you and 3 guests. Now, what I want you to tell me is what's the meal and who are your 3 guests? Ooh. And it could be, I'll throw it out there, could be sports people, could be musicians, could be whatever. So if you were to have your perfect meal for 4, what food would it be? Starter, main, dessert. And who would your 3 guests be?
Well, that's a good question.
So Andy, what? Okay, let's leave the people to start. Because I'll let you have a think about that. Okay. What would your starter, main, dessert be? So it has to be something that you are capable of sort of creating or cooking. So I'll give you a little bit of leeway in terms of, well, actually, you know what, I could do this. I haven't really tried it, but I think I could do it.
What would do the first 2? I don't know about dessert.
I'll get my daughter to do the dessert. That's fine. So what would the first 2 be? What would your first course be?
First course would probably be either something like chicken tenders or something like that, or like a veggie soup, or like a really thin veggie soup, because I like that. Mains would just be, I don't know, maybe probably go on the barbie or something like that. Maybe a bit of steak or something.
Yeah,
steak and chips. There we go, something easy.
Okay, any accompaniment? So would you go peppercorn sauce? Would you go sort of almost like a blue cheesy sauce? What would you go? Onion rings? Do you go veg?
Oh yeah, a bit of veg on there, some steamed veg like runner beans and broccoli or something. But I'd like to go peppercorn sauce, but I won't have colour to make it. I'll get it out of the packet.
Yeah, absolutely, get it out of the packet. Okay, so right, think about your perfect table of 4. Add starter mains.
It's a good question to do this actually, because the thing is about this. A lot of the stuff I do when I'm leading these, you don't get the prep. I do. So you've jumped me on. It's quite interesting.
You see, now you know how I feel.
It's quite nice. It's quite nice being on the other side of it. You can do a few more, definitely. But no, the meal I've got in mind is based around a couple of the guests that I had.
Okay.
So I'm thinking for starters, I had some tacos in a restaurant in Leeds, which were vegan. And you would never known. You would never known. They were phenomenal. For the main, I would do some.
Could you make them? Could you make those tacos?
100%.
Okay, cool.
100%. And then for the main, one of the favourite meals I did as a vegetarian was a roulade. So it's like you obviously had the roulade as a dessert, but I did a savoury one. Now, could I do it as a vegan one? Maybe I could. I don't know. I never tried it, but I'd like to have a go. I'd like to have a go at vegan cooking. Actually, one of the episodes I had planned as beans to stuff was vegan.
Okay.
Go vegan for a week, and Andy has taught us about going vegan for a month, which would be a challenge for him.
It would be for Look, he's shaking his head.
Yeah. It's a very short thought.
No. He'd had a fair bit of beer when he came up with it.
We'll do that. No, we won't.
Yeah. So I would do something like a roulade and some vegetables. I do some wicked carrots covered in coriander and some sweet potato that's been and pumpkin in there. And then for dessert, I would do a pumpkin pie, a sweet pumpkin pie.
Okay, so for me, it would be probably to start. It'd be some sort of like maybe prawns in like a chili and garlic sort of prawns, like a little bit of a deer prawns, and then a little bit of spice. Try and create a bit of a sort of garlicky sauce, bit of white wine in there, maybe a bit of sort of cream in there, garlic in there, onion in there, maybe a bit of a sort of twist on that. And then I think I go down Andy's route in terms of the main. I think I'd probably do a steak. I think I'd probably try and get like a really nice fillet and just make it literally just like, not quite a blue, but quite a rare fillet. And a choice of potatoes. See, my wife loves the dauphinoise potatoes. I would have no clue how to make them. Like, no clue. If you could show me how you'd make them, I'd perhaps try. But so for her, it'd be the dauphinoise. But for me, it would be probably your traditional, like, thick cut chips, and maybe you do them in a fry, maybe try and sort of double cook them, triple cook them, maybe. I don't know how to do that, but maybe read it, try and find it. I would go down the onion rings and the peppercorn sauce a bit like Andy. So the dessert, I'd just get Amy to make. She makes fantastic cakes. So I would get Amy to make some sort of chocolate gatto, chocolate sponge sort of cake. She makes some quite nice sort of novelty cakes and stuff. She does birthdays and stuff. So she made me a fantastic chocolate finger sort of cake, and it was decorating and stuff. So I'd probably go down that. I'm cheating a bit because I'm getting my 15-year-old daughter involved. But yeah, so for me, it'd be like some sort of like prawn and chili garlic starter and a steak for a main. Right. Tough question then.
Before we have the guest.
Oh, go on.
Okay, I want to ask a question about the guest. Living or dead? Did it have to be alive?
No, go on. I'll let you go. I'll let you go. Ultimate. Whenever.
Okay, cool.
Andy, you cool with that? So go on. Who's your number one then? So there's you. Who would be your first guest?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Obviously.
I've got a list already.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone. No, go on. So who's your number two then?
It would be the lead singer of Alien Ant Farm, Dryden.
Okay, and your last person?
Aaron Lewis, lead singer of Stained as well.
Okay, and without the obvious, any particular reason why you chose just those three? Obviously, the music that you're into and the influence you.
Well, I met 2 out of 3. I've met Dryden and Aaron. I like the vocals and stuff, obviously, but briefly speaking to them as well is really interesting people.
Yeah.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger, I loved his films growing up, and also his whole fitness mythology of, like trying to get America, or he implemented like fitness classes and stuff like in schools and fitness tests.
Yeah.
Something I'd like to see over here a bit more as well.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Sort of stuff.
Right, Ad.
Well, you know what?
I'm guessing yours isn't going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No. Well,
I'm guessing one's going to be Morrissey.
The first one will be Morrissey.
Yeah, so
Stephen Patrick Morrissey, obviously, which is why I chose a vegetarian and vegan menu.
Okay.
It's vegan. So yeah, I'd go down that route purely and simply because he's meat is murder and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Morrissey, absolutely would love to sit at a table with Morrissey just to hear him talk. Actually, been my inspiration and my guide through life. Next, probably go with Dave Gorman. I've met him once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fantastic guy. Again, vegetarian. So I find him very entertaining, very intelligent chap.
Likes a checkered shirt.
He does. He loves the flannel shirt. God bless him. I like just replugging Dixon flannel.
Yeah, I was going to say, get him on the Dixon flannel.
Exactly. Yeah, I placed an order for myself and Andy about a week ago. It's winging its way to us as we speak. It's just left LA, and then finally, it's the reason why I asked about
Living or
Dead would be probably Dylan Thomas, my favourite poet.
Okay.
Dylan Thomas, love Dylan Thomas, fellow Welshman. Loved his drink, but yeah, absolutely would love to sit at a table with Dylan Thomas and have a few beers and listen to him speak.
Perfect. So for me, it would be Freddie Mercury, just because growing up I loved the music of Queen, and I think he got, such a life story as to where he came from, what he became. And I'm sure he's got some pretty seedy stories to tell as well.
And that's why you're inviting him.
And that's why. And the stories of various parties where you've got sort of dwarfs walking around like platters of like cocaine on trays, and just not that I can afford, so that. Yeah. But just as a character,
you sort of dwarf in wrestling.
It's a whole different story. But just, I remember watching the Wembley concert, and then Live Aid, and then the tribute concert. And I just thought, because I'd listened to Queen growing up, and I just thought, wow, like a phenomenal. It's still to me the greatest single showman on a stage. Phenomenal. So there'd be him. Number 2 for me would be it's close. I would only go one golfer, and it would either be Jack Nicklaus or Tiger Woods. And I'm sort of leaning toward Jack Nicklaus, but then Tiger Woods was just when I'm into golf, and Tiger Woods literally changed the way golf was played.
Not only that, you got a few other stories to tell as well, hasn't he?
Well, yeah. I mean, him being around the table, because he's obviously gone through quite a lot of stuff. So, and there's a fantastic documentary actually, a bit of a side if you watch it, if you are subscribing to Sky. Tiger Woods Back is phenomenal. It's great, and it talks about his rise and then fall and then rise again. So you've got two. The third one, you know what? Morgan Freeman.
We know you're a fan.
I love Morgan Freeman. I genuinely love Morgan Freeman.
You should have Kevin Spacey and then have Morgan Freeman narrate it from behind.
You know what? I thought, can I get Kevin Spacey? And I better not. I thought I better not. Not with everything that's gone on. But yeah, so for me, Morgan Freeman, I love his films. I love him as a person. I can imagine him having so many stories and just his philosophy on the things that the people he's spoken to, and so it'd be me, Freddie Mercury, let's say Tiger Woods, Morgan Freeman.
I tell you what, though, when we had David on from Double Trouble a couple of weeks back, we talked about heading, and we will head up to the Disability Darts and have a few beers there. We should head over to Morgan Freeman's bar in America, and have a few beers and a meal there. That would be a TBR podcast.
That would be
enjoyable.
Look, I love Morgan Freeman. He's probably done a couple of terrible films, but I can't think of many. And he's done. Oh, dude! Get out! And obviously for me, he's done certainly two films that are in my top 5. And if you listen to that episode, you'll know what they are. But for me, he's just you know what? Nelson Mandela was close. Although I could talk about Morgan Freeman, who portrayed Nelson Mandela in one of the films, so I could talk about that. But so Nelson Mandela will be close, just because he's But there's so many. It's hard to narrow it down, I suppose. And you could do top 4 sportsmen, top 4. So your dinner party, if I've got this right, you've got some sort of chicken to start with a steak, and you've got 2 lead singers, you and who was your 4th one? Sorry. Oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger. How can I forget Arnie? I'll be back. That's and then for you, you've got sort of a vegan vegetarian twist with Dylan Thomas.
Not intentionally, but Dylan Thomas wasn't vegetarian, but yeah.
Morrissey. And who's your 4th one?
Dave Gorman. Okay. And I've gone sort of chili prawns, steak. And I've gone Freddie Mercury, Tiger Woods, Morgan Freeman. To be fair, it's interesting tables, isn't it?
They are interesting tables, aren't they? And it is interesting. So I don't know whether you guys want to add anything in terms of food, any food stories, anything. They were my questions. That was me leading this sort of episode in terms of just your fails, your successes, your likes, your dislikes. Is there any food that was served that if it was served in front of you, you'd go, no way am I eating that. I hate it.
Well, obviously.
Any vegetarian food. It has to be meat. Andy the Viking house said it has to be meat.
I've eaten vegetarian food before. It's not too bad.
Yeah, see, I spent, like, say, 15 years, 14 years and 364 days as a vegetarian. And, I wouldn't have a problem going back to it. But one of the questions I jotted down was, our buddies in Oklahoma, Shiner, huge hunter.
Yeah,
hunts the whitetail with his dad and his brother, so he fills his freezer with venison. When he takes him down, he goes bow hunting. He's a keen bow hunter, and he fills his freezer full of deer, and it's a great way of feeding your food. Obviously, that you still have to pay for it. It's got to be processed, sent off, and have it to cut up. And Johnny Simo of the Toddcast, he is a keen wild turkey hunter in Virginia. If we had to hunt our food, Could we
I'd
do
go
it?
hungry.
Could we do it? Could we do it? Because
Andy definitely 100%. He'd be like, "That's meat. I'm having it." 100%.
Even people.
But could you though? Because I've gone. Obviously, I've left vegetarianism behind me because let's face it, animals taste good.
Yeah.
And that's my next question.
Could you kill the animal that you're going to eat?
I always used to say that to people as my argument as a vegetarian. If you had to kill, would you eat or would you go vegetarian like me? But now I'm starting to think, well, actually, I eat meat. Should I be okay with that? And actually, the idea of going and doing something like that, I don't know if it appeals a little bit, whether that's wrong or not.
I think I would be able to do that.
Oh.
I think as much as, the hunting of various endangered species is wrong.
Oh, yeah, I think trophy
hunting,
everybody.
Yeah. But in terms of yes, I think I would be able to hunt. Actually, I'm not capable of doing it because I've never hunted in my life. But if it came to you need to hunt to kill something to eat it, I think I could probably do that.
Would you like to try it? That's my question. Would you like to try? Not could you do it? Would you be interested in having a pop at it?
I'd do it.
I think I'd be interested.
Yeah. Andy give me crash course in you know what I mean? Like how to use various weaponry, sort of bows and arrows and so look at the list.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I could. I think I could do that.
What about yourself, Andy?
Oh, we know the answer to that, don't we?
Yeah, like I say, I think, I've done rabbit and pheasant before. I don't know. I wouldn't like to. I don't like fishing and stuff like that. But I'll do everything else.
I always think of a story when Spongo, my younger brother Mark, he did he was fast. He wanted to go into the army, didn't he? He did some SAS training.
Yeah.
And one of the things he did, they gave him a chicken, and basically you had to get your fingers around the chicken's head and whip it like that to break its neck, and then you had to pluck it and cook it and eat it. And two of the guys who he was there with were Muslim. So they were given a knife to cut. Let's see, obviously you took the way they had to cut it to bleed it. And one of the guys sat there for that long. It laid an egg. It was happy days.
I'll eat that instead.
So you had an egg to eat instead.
Brilliant. But it's interesting that Andy mentioned the fishing. When I was 17, I went to Australia. We as part of the cricket tour, we sort of chartered some boats and we did some sea fishing. And I didn't catch massive, great big fish. But some of the fish that was caught, literally, they said, right, we're going to keep that. And then later it was like, right, chuck it on the barbecue. And we literally would have the daily catch. That was what you ate. And I have to say, it was absolutely gorgeous, So, I'm sure I could. Whether I would be capable of it, I don't know. But yeah, I'd give that a go.
The other question I had as well, what's the weirdest stuff you've eaten? The more...
Quinoa or quinoa or however it's spelled. Quinoa. I don't mind it, but just a bit odd, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but I was thinking more like animal-wise.
Oh, well, I've eaten kangaroo.
Yeah, in Australia.
Yeah, so I've eaten kangaroo, roux steaks. So basically I had like a burger and it's like a roux burger. Gorgeous. Other than the fact they've got beetroot on it. Australians love beetroot for some reason. I don't understand why.
I've got some great beetroot.
Yeah, but not like on everything. So yeah, kangaroo, obviously squid, octopus. Yeah, so eating that sort of stuff. Interesting. I'd like to try it, but I haven't ever eaten snake. So I haven't eaten snake, but I'd quite like to try it.
I have had crocodile.
Okay, so I haven't eaten that.
In Nantwich Food Festival. I had a crocodile burger, and the weirdest thing is they put it on white.
Claw.
No, but it goes on white. It's white meat, and when it cooks, it goes pink. So it basically looks like you've been handed raw meat.
Wow!
I only had the woman's word to take for it.
Are you sure she wasn't?
It could have been raw, yeah.
Andy, go on then. What's sort of your sort of most sort of obscure food?
I don't know really. Squid was coming to my mind. But then that's like quite common now, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
I'll just go with that for now. I can't think of any.
Yeah, you see, I haven't tried, like, obviously, you know, veal, venison, or your traditional, I say traditional meats. Pigeon I haven't tried, actually. So that would be...
You've been to France. Have you ever had frog's legs?
Yeah, I've eaten frog legs.
How did you get on with them?
Yeah, they're fine.
I didn't even taste them or anything. What about snails?
Snails, try just like a slightly chewy overcooked mushroom.
Yeah,
It's just like...
we had snails. Kim and I had snails when we went to Paris, and to be honest, they're phenomenal. And Kim gave me a last one, and I was like, if you're gonna give that up, I'll have that. Absolutely, I'm loving these.
I didn't mind them, yeah.
But I scooped it out using the special. I give you bang in my sister. Yeah, I couldn't eat that one because the big eye was staring at me. Yeah, at least tell me that once I've swallowed it. Thanks.
But no, I'd say we've been to France, done snails and frog legs.
Insects. Have you had crickets?
No, and that'd be because it's weird. Because on my bucket list of places to go, I'd love to go to sort of the Far East. So you go Vietnam, you go that sort of region.
So when coronavirus part 2 kicks off, it's going to be down to really weird shit out there.
But I'd love to go to, you hear stories when you go to, Singapore and Hong Kong, and you got all the street markets and stuff. And literally, if something flies, we'll put a stick up its ass and fry it effectively. That's.
I've had crickets. I have had crickets in New York. Deeply, deeply unpleasant.
Really?
Yeah, nicely spiced.
Were they deep fried and spiced?
Yeah, didn't enjoy it. Did not enjoy it at all.
Was that because you knew they were crickets?
Yeah, basically. I think that's what it boiled down to. I was looking at it. It is just basically a cricket.
So if you close your eyes, you should taste that. You'd be like,
okay. It was very dry. There wasn't a lot of enjoyment to have about it. The only other ones I had is, I think, zebra. I bought some zebra meat from Nantwich again, and I also had ostrich from the same place. We bought, there was a meat stall there, and we tried a few different ones. The only other one I had, which at the time seemed unusual, given the scandal from Tesco's and a few other places afterwards, was horse. I ate horse in Russia. The first night we were there, they served horse.
Did you know it was horse?
Yeah, we knew it was horse at the time. It wasn't just like, here's this.
Here's some meat.
Yes.
So it literally said like, horse, chips.
No, it was literally horse. But it was horse and rice. It was just like the driest. It was awful.
Really?
Awful, yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't get a lot of enjoyment from it. But those are the strangest
meats I have. No, I'd say snake is the one that I suppose that I'd quite like to try. There's obviously lots of other things, like I said, horse I've never tried, zebra I've never tried, but having tried sort of squid, octopus, I'd quite like to try snake, if I'm honest. But
I know you've mentioned fish a few times. I do not like fish, but I do like shellfish. I love shellfish.
See, fish if it's cooked well. Me and Jenny went to this lovely, again, BC. Oh no, actually, I think we did have the kids actually, and we went to a fish restaurant, and we had, is it mahi? Is it mahi? Mahi. Oh, like gorgeous. And we had this starter, and it basically like 2 or 3 different types of fish, and you're like, well, it's just fish. But they were all like different, if you know what I mean. So we had this starter, and then we had this main Abigail. I remember Abby and Amy, I think they had this like tuna steak. Tuna steak came, and it's like thick, and they polished that off, and I can't remember exactly what me and Jenny had, but like, I think Jenny had one, I think it's a head on it with an eye in or something, and she was a bit like, like, let's just not look at that and sort of thing, because she wanted like deheaded and stuff. But fish, if it's done well, is beautiful. And actually, we don't eat it enough in this country, I don't think, as a nation, because it's really good for you. It's really healthy.
Well, one last shout out then before we go, because obviously we love a good curry, and where's the best place to get a curry in Alsager?
Latif's,
obviously.
Weird 24-hour theory. I sent him a Facebook message yesterday saying, Latif, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on. Come and talk.
We'd love to have Latif on here, because Latif is a great guy, isn't he? If you've ever been served by anybody with great customer service in any restaurant, he won't be topped by Latif, because he's a fantastic guy.
And literally, so I've sent him a message, telling him about TBR, telling him about how we're trying to grow, and it'd be great to have him on, talk about his restaurant, talk about his experiences of food, but also to talk about how he's grown his YouTube channel.
132,000.
Unbelievable, isn't it? It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Next level.
Yeah.
And literally, this is in the space of 12 months.
Yeah.
The guy has gone.
He's
viral.
gone.
Incredible.
He's gone. Like,
and you couldn't wish it on a nicer guy.
Stratospheric. So I've sent him a message. We'll wait to see what comes back. It would be phenomenal to have him. And I know he's liked a couple of sort of Facebook and sort of tweets and stuff. So social media, I know he sort of keeps an eye out for us. So we'll wait and see what comes back. So watch this space. But I'd love to do a Latif's
100%, because
TBR.
And we'll get Kim involved with that one, because like we say, in terms of fish, whenever we go there, Kim always has the salmon galabi, which is a curried fish, and she loves it. Thinks it's phenomenal.
It'd be perfect.
Yeah, so that's something we'll look to do in the future. Anyway, dude, it's your episode. Wrap it up.
Been great hosting this episode, guys, and it's been nice with Shu being on the other foot, seeing how the other two sort of slightly squirm when I throw the questions out there, and they're unscripted, which has been fantastic. Loved having you along, loved hosting it. Andy, if you want to say goodbyes, as punctual as ever. Adam.
Yeah, I loved it. I've loved the Shu being on the other foot, dude. This one was the last time we do this, so I'll give you the sign-off line if you want to do it. Doesn't have to be that one. You do your own.
I was going to say, until the next time, when no doubt we'll have lots of other irrelevant things to talk about. See you later.